Hello and welcome back to Building a Nation here on Football Manager 2023. As ever, we are in Iceland with UMF Selfoss and we are at the end of Season 14 here on the save, and as you can see, once again, 4 trophies won, as usual, because that's what we do. As ever, we'll talk about how we've got on, signings, the usual fun and games that we like to do on the save. As ever as well, thank you so much for the incredible support on the save so far. Over 250 subscribers as the time of recording, which is Monday the 23rd. I'm actually recording an episode the week it comes up, so we're actually on time for a change. As you can see, it's been a pretty quiet window, except for, as you can see, there's one guy at the very top, but we'll talk about him last. We brought in 3 players. Matthias Ortiz joined from Nacional for 7.75 million. We have not played Matthias Ortiz as of yet, but he's a good player for the future. I think he's a solid centre back. That's where I think his best position is. I just don't really see him as a left back in our system. Ilias Marcu, we talked about in our last episode. He joined from Apollon Limassol, spent some time on loan at Apollon Limassol, and then actually had a decent little contribution in the league for us in particular, with 8 goals in 9 games. I think he's a solid player. He's wanted by PSG currently, 19-year-old Cypriot. I really like him. Good physicals, the mentals are strong, especially his off the ball and teamwork and vision. His first touch is excellent as well. I think he's just a solid player going forward. And I think we talked about him last episode, but Dominik Plashati joined from Sparta Prague. The 19-year-old, a wonder kid, for 7.75 million, 28 starts, 5 off the bench, 41 goals for the 19-year-old. He is ridiculous. Look how good Dominik Plashati is. One thing I can do on these games is I feel like I'm good at finding a striker. That's all I'm going to say. I can find a striker in my saves. I've always had good success with this, and this guy's just a total beast for 19 years old as well. We're going to try our best to get this contract extended longer, even if we have to overpay his wages for the time being. In terms of the transfers out, it's been a bit of a weird one this year, so we've let go of some longer term players. We'll quickly run through them. So Yari Rama has gone to Sporting Gijon. He just didn't really cut it. His physicals are very good, but he's just, it was a bad signing. John Smarry Leoson went to Breidablik for nothing. Decent little player. He's contributed for them this season, which is good to see. 6 assists as well. Sindre Sigurjonsson has gone to Freiburg. Great player for us. A really, really good player for us, but he's just never going to improve any more than this. He's gone to Freiburg. He's had a nice little time in the Bundesliga with, 5 goals in 19 games is respectable, I would say. Anas El Wali has gone to Shabab Al Ali for £3 million. A great servant for us. Was our captain for a while as well, but has fallen down the pecking order in recent years. Still a very good player for us, but £3 million. It's a £3 million profit as well for a player who's just not going to get any better than this. 70 caps for Morocco as well. Great bit of business for us. Christian Ovra has gone to Molde. He wasn't really making the cut here. Ditto with Vidarmar Ordenson. His physicals are incredible. He's fast as hell, but fickle personality, already 24. Albie Hawkshaw was a surprising one. He has gone to Watford for just under £10 million. The Kosovan international. I liked Albie Hawkshaw. The bid came in and it was like, well, realistically, is he going to play very often for us? And I felt like the answer was no. So he's gone to Watford. Odin Einarsson has gone to IBV and had a pretty decent season for them. We talked about Van Kasteren, who's gone to Liverpool. Has actually played a cup game and scored a goal for Liverpool. I think he could be really good. I just think he's now going to be wasted because he's went to England and he could have went elsewhere and played. And lastly, the disappointing one, Radek Vondra has gone to Man City for £7.5 million. We had him back on loan for the second part of our season. He was out of contract in a year's time. He didn't want to sign a new one. I figured we might as well cash in on him now and just sign the replacement. He's a wonder kid. He's a great player, but we couldn't keep hold of him. And as you can see, it was another unbeaten season as well. 20 games, 1, 2 draws against Aje and Stjarnan. Stjarnan had an excellent season, by the way. They finished 11 points behind us, but until much neck and neck with us all the way. They have 100% solidified themselves as the second best team in the country. And yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with some competition. Stjarnan have been a real thorn in our side this year as well. We only beat them 1-0 and drew the other game 0-0. So they're definitely here to stay, I think. As ever, we won the Icelandic League Cup, the Icelandic Champions Cup, and the Icelandic Cup. Just what we do. We win these things every year. If you look at the Champions League, currently we're 4 wins from 4, guys. We've beaten Lazio, Porto, Atletico Madrid, and Lokomotiva Zagreb after getting past Rakow and Astana 9-0 in that away game there against Astana, as you do. Our season last year did once again for the second year in a row get ended by Man United, who are the only team pipping us to the top of the Champions League group currently as well. We had a good run against Stade Rennes though, and I'll talk about that more when we get to the fixtures. Finances and reputation, 8,500 shirt sales. Olafsson with the most shirt sales, as you would expect. Still a 3-star reputation club, and you know, everything's kind of where we expect to be. This doesn't change that much anymore, does it? One thing I haven't shown for a few episodes because I've kind of forgot is the supporter profile update. We are now over 1.2 million social media followers, 7,000 season ticket holders on our waiting list, and we've got 2,761. That should change now that we're playing in a bigger stadium, I think. And we've got all the filthy casuals as well. 21% casual, 20% fair weather, only 9% hardcore. Very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. We'll start in the dev centre for today's episode because it wasn't very good. We had Vern Hartson, who has gone through a midfielder. I mean, he's average. I think he could be a decent player in this league, but not for us. And we had Sigurður Jonsson as well, who, yeah, he's alright. We've produced so many okay wingers over the years that it's not really that exciting anymore. Finances are very healthy as ever. The projections are great. We're having a good time. If we look at the club info quickly as well, at facilities, as you can see, we do play at the Selfoss Stadium, which is just under 15,000 with just under 10,000 seated. It's been really nice to play in our own stadium for a change, especially now we've been able to upgrade it over time. We might actually try and upgrade it again. Let's see if they'll do it now. Let's see if they'll build us a new stadium. That's a nice little teaser for next episode. In terms of transfers, there's only one other transfer to talk about really, and it's an in, which is Ruben Pereira from Sporting Lisbon for £8.25 million. And the mentals are obscene. Professional, personality, promising midfielder is his description as well. He has not played for Sporting yet, but he's only 19, under 21 caps for Portugal for days. Midfielder, I think, is his position. He could play right back. I mean, right back is tempting, but we'll see what Ruben Pereira can do for us. He is joining on the 22nd of February, so in a couple months. We might do some more business. I'm not entirely sure yet what we'll end up doing. Another player we have brought in that doesn't show up was Matthias Ochoa, another South American, as you do, and he's probably going to be our centre-back replacement going forward. Just a good all-round player, 18 years old as well. He does like to argue with the refs, but don't we all? A quick look at the schedule will show you last year's Champions League campaign. So as you can see, we did finish in 12th position, a very respectable 12th. We were close to getting into that top 8, but we just couldn't quite make it. That did lead us to a 5-2 aggregate win over Rennes before a 4-2 loss to Manchester United doomed us in the end. And for anyone interested, Man United have won the Champions League quite a bit, or not, they've won it once. But they beat Barcelona, they're currently the best team in Europe. For anybody asking, this is the Champions League winners over the past few years. I'll leave that for a couple seconds and then you can pause if you want to read more. Here is the Europa League. Not any real surprises unless you count Tottenham winning it as a surprise, but on the game it's not really a surprise. And the Conference League has a nice variety. FC Midtjylland winning the Conference League. Leicester 2 times winners. AIK winning the Conference League. That gives some hope that we could hopefully win this. If we could ever fall into this competition, which is the annoying part because we never will because of the stupid new rules, we would win this competition as well. That's the worst part. We would win it. And the Super Cup for anyone who's strange enough to care about the Super Cup. If we look at the league rankings, we are currently in 25th position, up from 30th. We are starting to beat some of the leagues around us, the Russian Premier League, the Bundesliga 2, the Slovenian First League, Cypriot First League. We are currently chasing down the Championship and some divisions in Eastern Europe. And then hopefully we can get ourselves into the top 20 in the next year or two. Coefficient wise, we are number 16 in the rankings. If we filter it by just Iceland, you will see that Stjarnan have made it to 99th as well. So we're flying, both of us. Tactically, as ever, we are playing the same formation. There's no reason to change it. And squad wise, if we have a look at the goals, of course Plachati is the main man of. It's just so good. Look at this. Oh, unreal. Gudlaugsson again. Look at this. 34 goals, 23 assists. He signed a contract extension, by the way, to 2039. His value is almost 100 million. We set it as 100 million as well, but it's actually gone up to that value now. We've had bids of 70 million for this guy, and we are turning them down. Elias Marku, we've talked about. Gunnar Olafsson's had a weird one. A strange season, only 10 goals, 12 assists. He is our all-time top scorer in the league with 99 goals. He will hit 100, but after last year's heroics, he has come down to earth a little bit. And again, he's not improved as much as we thought he would. Gunnar Olafsson, he might be the guy I try and sell to teams in the division. Speaking of that, we've had some comments about this. So I don't think I showed this in the last episode. Apologies if I'm repeating myself again. So when I try and offer a player out for targets, I can exclude domestic cups, but I cannot add teams in Iceland. I have to do it manually. But if I offer him out on loan, then I can change the targets to include all clubs from nation. If anybody has a way for me to change this to be for transfers, that will save me a great amount of time trying to filter these guys out to teams in Iceland, because currently it's very difficult. Fleming Post has had a really good year for us. The Danish international, solid campaign across the middle, good number of assists as well. Gujong Hassing again proving to be a very reliable midfield option. 7 goals in the league as well isn't too shabby. Even Rasic continuing to be Mr. Reliable for the club, 28 years old, 30 caps for Germany. He still plays, still good. Definitely this year's Janus Grimbergs, I feel like. Harder Anderson hasn't quite lived up to the price that we paid for him, especially this year. It's not a concern, but I think I may have been romanced into this one by myself too much, to be honest. Kevin Simbolo, good overall season again for the Swiss international. Carlos Rosa, just a beast of a left back. Gaston Rodriguez has had a pretty solid campaign as well. He is wanted by Bayern currently. He is wanted by a lot of clubs, but we're not letting him go, because why would we let him go? Hordor Tomasson has played quite a few games in the league as well, and is starting to develop into a decent little right back. I'm not sure he's the long-term option, but then I'm also not sure Frana Robertson is the long-term option either. I think they're both good players, but this is what I'm talking about when we signed that Argentinian guy, or no, the Portuguese guy from Sporting. We kind of need someone at right back. Similarly at centre back, Summerlidson's had a really good year, and he's a very solid, reliable player, but he's not really going to improve much more than he currently is. Ronfo Henriksen the same as well. I think he's a decent player. I think he's a bit underrated by myself as well, but he's wanted by Ronaldo's Al Nassr, so we might cash in down the line. Otherwise, only other players to really talk about are of course the goalkeepers. Krute is still here, but he is probably leaving this year. He's unhappy, he's whinging quite a lot. And Yamakorn, so Yamakorn wanted to leave. However, stupid man that signed a optional contract clause in his contract a few years ago. So as you can see, he's through till 2040 because we exercised our optional 3 years worth of contract. So thank you so much, Natapong. You're here forever. You will never leave. Which thank God, because look how good he is. Stephen McCormick might actually just be promoted to our backup goalkeeper for this next year, to be honest. I mean, we might just go with that and see what happens. And then lastly, we have the man himself. Now, I want to give this a go because I signed him pretty much for the, the Yaya Ding Dong joke that I immaturely made. Now, I'm going to be honest, so Vitor Silva commented this on the last episode, how to pronounce this, and I'll be honest, I don't really know how to pronounce this, so I'm going to go to Google for a second and I'll be back in a moment. So after consulting Mr. Google, the most reliable source, I am informed it's Jaja. Now that might be a complete butcher and I'm really sorry to any Brazilians and any Portuguese speakers. We might just keep calling him Yaya, I'm going to be honest, because we signed him for the joke. He's very good though, by the way, I'd like to point that out. Like 21 appearances, 11 goals, 7 assists, he's wanted by Liverpool and all sorts. He's a very good player, and what I like about a lot of our attacking players is they can play on the wings or they can play up front as well. So we have a lot of flexibility with what we can do with a lot of these guys, which I really, really like in this squad. There's a lot of talent in the forward lines. We just need to bulk up the defence, I think, a bit now. The defence is looking a bit ropey, but what can you do? That's what happens in these saves, isn't it? Let me just go check if there's anything else people wanted to see. I'm really enjoying the engagement, by the way, and all of these comments that I have been getting. We have had quite a lot of engagement. I really like that. I like the comments, people asking questions. We had someone wanting to have a look. It was Adam in the comments, was Cole Campbell. So let's have a little look at Cole Campbell, if he's on the save, which he should be. So here's Cole Campbell. I don't think Cole Campbell's really developed as much as anybody would have hoped here. No caps for Iceland, 29 years old. I mean, he's decent. He's kind of like some of the strikers we had in the first couple of years, who this guy would do a job in the Icelandic Premier League, to be honest. He's done a decent job in his career. I mean, I don't know who these guys are, at what level they played at, but he scored goals, and he did get to Hanover in the Bundesliga before farming out to Osnabrück in the 3rd Bundesliga. Not quite the career he probably would have wanted. When's he out of contract? In 2 years' time. Yeah, Cole Campbell just hasn't really developed, I think, as much as anybody would have hoped, unfortunately. But yeah, a lot of people, I've shown the Europa and Conference League winners, so Real Fake History, that one's for you. Apologies for hitting the mic there. And yeah, it's been a fun save still to this point. We're flying here. I haven't been able to play it as much as I would like. A lot of stuff has come up over the past couple of weeks. I have been a pretty busy man fan. So we're keeping the weekly uploads for now. I'm hoping I can eventually go to double a week uploads, but for now we're keeping that. I just wanted to point out Arnold Drystad still hasn't called up for Iceland yet. He is playing at Al Faya in Saudi Arabia, of course. Was he actually eligible for Iceland? I mean, no, I don't think he was. Oh well. The only other thing to point out as well is we had a comment asking earlier on today when I'm recording this from Heavy Metal Football. He's asked if we're trying to make the league the best or the actual country. Effectively, the league is the priority, so we want to be the number one ranked league in Europe. Right up here, we want to be where the Premier League is. We want to be the best ranked team in Europe, which we're getting there. Obviously, it's going to be quite a while until we're number one. And I would like to take over the Icelandic national team. I didn't realise they actually sacked the manager, and for some reason appointed St Johnstone's Callum Davidson as their new manager, which, I mean, that's an odd one. He's done a decent job at St Johnstone in real life, but, you know, it's a weird one if we have to talk about it honestly. But as you do, did he win 2 Scottish Cups? Yes, he did. Callum Davidson, double Scottish Cup winner with St Johnstone. There you go. So I want to take over the Icelandic team and get them up to number one as well, but that is a optional and hopeful aim going forwards. If we can't do it, we can't do it, but if we can, we can. If anybody's interested, the top rated players in Iceland apparently, so we've got Thor Gudlaugsson, Hakan Raffin Valdemirsson, who's a decent goalkeeper. He's getting on a bit in age, 34 now, but he could do he might be a decent backup, to be honest. We've got Patrick Sigurdur Gunnarsson. Sorry, I'm forgetting where the names go here. Actually, he might be a decent back. I might buy him. 1.4 million to 2.8. We might buy him and get him in. He's a perfectionist as well. Oscar Axelsen at Al Rayyan, 28 years old, decent. I think he came from Stjarnan, if I'm correct. Yeah, he did. He make the money. 275 grand. It's not terrible. It's not great either. And Andre Fanner Balderson at Sporting, a midfielder, 33 years old. He's decent. I mean, he's worth 60k, but I don't think he's worth bringing in, to be honest. But that's good. I've rambled on a lot today. My throat's a bit sore. I've been at work all day. My work involves talking all day. So as you do, we're getting there on the save. 14 seasons in. Hopefully everybody's still enjoying it. I mean, the views have been sensational. The likes, the comments, the subscribers. It's been really great. I'm really happy. Thank you so much for what you've been able to do for me here so far. Like, I have not got any grandstand interests in terms of the channel. Like, I don't have a face camera. I have a camera, but it's really low quality. It's not high on my agenda to have a camera on. I like the casual nature of just loading up the game at the end of the season, talking you through it, and going from there, answering questions, showing you how the world's developing as well, because I think people are quite interested in that. And actually, while I'm here, I will show you things like the world rankings, I suppose, while we're here. We might as well make this a bit longer, why not? So France are currently the best team in the world. If we look at the World Cup, the holders, of course, Switzerland, and the previous winners have been France, Poland, France, and Switzerland. So get your money on Poland to win the 2026 World Cup, apparently, because, yeah, that's going to happen. USA finished third in the last World Cup. There you go. For anybody curious, this is the AFCON winners. There you go. Asian Nations Cup, Iran, Japan, and Australia. And the Euros have been won by France, Norway, and Denmark. So Ukraine got to the runner-up. That's nice. That's a nice rebound story for Ukraine to get to that stage and be runners-up. But that's going to do it for today's episode. I've talked a lot. I need to shut up now. Hopefully I've answered everything people wanted to see and you're still enjoying the save. I'll be back next Friday with season 15. We're 15 seasons in here. I'm still loving the save. The save's actually still running quite well, which is surprising, despite the fact this PC is about to get chucked out the window at some point because it's falling to bits. But that's going to do it for today. See you guys next Friday. Drop a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see you guys next time for Building a Nation with Iceland. Any more questions, drop them in the comments and I'll get to you in chat and on the video. Thank you and goodbye.